Okay, it's the 0 to 100 podcast, and I'm back. This is the first time I'm going to post an actual episode, so I am joined by my boy Teddy. What's up, Teddy?
What's up, y'all? How's it going?
What's going on, Jr.?
What up, Will?
All
The
right,
first
so
time you're gonna post an episode?
yeah, on YouTube. So the last time I tried to record this, I didn't actually post it because I didn't like how it came out. So this is the first time I'm going to actually post an episode onto YouTube. Of course, I've had you guys on before, but that was always in the audio version.
Hmm.
So yeah, and so Jr. You gotta mind your language.
Did?
You gotta mind your language on this one because at least like on the audio, I can always go back and beep it. I haven't figured out how to do that on YouTube yet. So yeah, mind your
What are
language.
the
You
rules
got
on YouTube? Like I feel like I hear people cuss ever,
you can.
and
I
then
mean, like you
then
can
other
cut.
times I hear people be like, "Don't say that."
You can cuss. Is I think it all depends on what what label you're putting on it. And I know you can say ass, and you can say you can say the S word and stuff like that, but you can't put like A and then whole together. And so stuff like that. And you definitely can't say the F word. So
You said label like RPG or something like that.
I guess I'm not like the only thing I know is like you can mark it as explicit, but I don't ever post anything that's explicit on here. So I'm especially because like the most familiarity that I do have when I'm posting stuff to YouTube is for my church. So of course that's never gonna have any language. So just be mindful. That's all I'm asking.
Mindful mode engaged.
All right. So I wanted to have you guys on because free agency kicks off tomorrow for the NFL. The legal tampering period is March 9th, even though free agency doesn't officially start until March 11th. And so I think the first question that I do have for you guys is I have a list of free agents that are going to be up for and I wanted to go through some of the position groups and tell so you guys can tell me who would you want out of this list of free agents that I'm looking at here. So for the edge group, we have Jalen Phillips, Adafe Owe, Boye Mafe, Bradley Chubb, Clavion Chason, Trey Hendrickson, Quiddy Pay, and Joey Bosa. So out of that group, which one of those edges would you like the Cowboys to actually go for? Or is there an edge that I did not mention that you would like them to target?
Can you put that list in the chat?
Yeah, yeah, I can do that.
Like me, I don't really want Trey Hendrickson. Um, he's expensive. He's 31, and he's coming off an injury. Um, and he seems, he's a great pass rusher. So, I feel similarly to Max Crosby. Like, I really, wanted Max Crosby. I didn't want to give up two first for him. If they had given up two first for him, I would be fine with that. I'd have been like, oh, okay, well, we got Max Crosby. Um, similarly, I feel that way about Trey Hendrickson, where I feel like I would, I would, of course, be happy to have him. Uh, but I feel like I'd rather get somebody else and save a little bit of money. I like OA a lot, and who was the other guy you mentioned early on?
Boye
Yeah, I put,
Mafe.
Yeah,
yeah.
Mafe is the other one who I like. I'm like that would work. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel too. I think in a vacuum, I like Phillips, but the injury stuff is worrisome. We already have, Ezaraku has had hip surgery now. I'm like, man, The thing is, I feel like we need like an impact player, but I don't think there's that many impact guys available. It was Crosby, really, who's still good in the run, and then
Mhm.
Hendrickson, who 2 years ago was the defensive player of the year, has had injury history, is older, isn't as good as a run defender, but I see like how we get over that if we were able to get him to like have a real pass rusher in that position, especially when you have the interior that they do. They didn't have to give up anybody in the Crosby trade, so like that makes sense. But I really
Mhm.
see the ascending part of Owe and then Mafe. I think they fit really well into the system. Phillips, of course, does too. His injury history scares me a little bit. It does seem like the Eagles are going to really try to keep him. So that might not even happen. We might get an alert while we're on this that they came to an agreement somehow. It's gonna cost. I think we're gonna be in a bidding war potentially with Hendrickson. Um, don't want to win that war if it's at a detriment. We need a lot of pieces, and you would have
Yeah.
had more cost control with a Crosby trade than you would have gotten with us just going free agency for Hendrickson. So those two, the Owe, Mafe, are like my picks, and it sounds like from reports from like James Palmer and a couple others, Hendrickson might not be their next logical choice to go after. So hopefully they can get one of these good edges that can still drop back and play the traditional 3-4, and it'll make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that Hendrickson is going to be a little too expensive for them. I know Khalil Mack just re-signed with the Chargers, and I think it was it for like 15 per year or was it 20?
18,
Okay,
18,
18.
And
So
Daniil Hunter got
full,
a
full,
bunch of money.
18 fully
yeah,
guaranteed, and Danielle Hunter got 40 million fully
yep,
guaranteed for 1 year.
yep,
Like
yeah. So yeah, I think they might get priced out for on Hendrickson. Um, like Owe for me is the top DN, and I mean I've been on Owe for a minute. Like I felt like I think he would be a good fit. Boye Mafe is another one that I would feel good about. Do you think, and I want to run this past you guys, somebody else that I would like, and I think he would fit, especially for that outside edge position? Do you think that they would go after Clavion Chason, but because he's like the cost of him, you could still sign somebody like Owe or Mafe and pair him with Chason?
I think he's a traditional person they would go after. They had someone they thought of highly as a first round pick before.
Yep.
He's a CD Lamb draft that makes sense. Except this time it would actually be better. Typically, those guys, he's finally figuring it out. That would be our standard splash move, I guess, is somebody they had
Yeah.
high regard. I want someone who's done that a little bit more consistently, like he has last year, which is cool. I think in that case, if you paired him with somebody else, then I do really like that. Like getting ascending players for this team is good in a vacuum. I do kind of want to hit a little stronger, but maybe we get more of an impact player in like a at that slot position or getting some linebackers. Like somebody needs to be like a big time move for this defense to move forward. But it also
Hmm.
could have been just that bad as a collective last year. So um, ideally, I would not want to get Chase on, but I do want to get some other impact positions. So he played well, and I think he's figuring it out. He's like a late bloomer, maybe.
Hmm. I guess that's where I'm at, and I do know it's like yeah, typically the Cowboys always go for a player that they were targeting before. I know that I remember that draft that Chase. It was like the debate was, oh, we need Chase on to play in, and then CD Lamb just fell in their laps, and they couldn't pass on CD Lamb. So it'll be interesting to see. So the next group that I want to move on to is linebackers, and so you got N'Kobe Dean, Devin Bush, Leo Chenal, Devin Lloyd, Demario Davis, and Tremaine Edmonds. Anyone out of that group that you would want to go after?
Me personally, I like the idea of N'Kobe Dean, and I know it seems like people don't. I think of him as a good player. I think him as smaller, but he's a smart guy, and I think he immediately uplifts your linebacker room for sure. And I think he can do this stuff that to free up. Um, oh my God, with names today.
Overshown.
Overshown. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was necessary. I also think Leo Chanel might work, and I like, you know, but me, I feel like I want to bring in younger guys, who can still play. And I remember Kobe Dean from the draft, it just seems like it was a couple of years ago. So so I'm still kind of
His
excited about
injury
him.
history doesn't concern you.
Bothers me.
So what?
It
Yeah.
bothers me. That's problematic for me. As much as it's a fit, it's just like we then would have him and Overshown. And he's probably
Yeah.
better price wise. That's my only holdup.
Yeah, that's my only pause. I mean, price wise, I think Dean could work like scheme wise, especially because he was with Christian Parker. I feel like it could work. It makes sense, but I am concerned about his injury history. Devin Lloyd is the one that I'm like dreaming of. I know he like if we're worried about price tag with Trey Hendrickson, then you definitely got to worry about price tag for Devin Lloyd, which is why the Jaguars aren't bringing him back because he's outpriced, their market. It's weird to me. Nobody's really talking about Devin Bush from Cleveland.
I feel like we heard more of him earlier. He was somebody I know Broadus talked about at the trade deadline. He'd be a solid, not expensive move. Like he played well for the Browns last year, and I think that's doable. I mean, I think we maybe talked about we were thinking about coordinators you could bring over, and at the time, like Schwartz was like, okay, you hit Schwartz. Who do you have? Maybe bring Devin Bush with you, and that's why we're talking about Nakobe Dean because he was with with Parker and the Eagles. Bush would be a solid adult like linebacker play. I'm trying to, as we think through this, like where is our splash impact player going to be? And part of it is just raising the floor of the defense, but that might just be from the draft, I guess. But he raises the floor, which we didn't have any floor. The basement was where we had a linebacker last year, so we got to figure that out regardless. But I'd like Bush as a solid signing. I think it almost feels like Dean is a foregone conclusion, though. Like they're gonna just sign him. It would surprise me if they try to get somebody like a Lloyd. I just don't see it being a splash play when we have a defensive back type of coach. I think that's where they're gonna want to get something that helps that position more so.
You mean like a splash cornerback?
Maybe it's either that or like an edge position to help the cornerbacks and in the types of disguises they can. Is kind of
I'm always gonna want edge first and cornerback second for myself.
I'm still wired that way myself. Playing up front. I just you gotta really have some dudes to just be in the back end built. Like you need some pass rush, and we have a lot of interior rush, but we saw that wasn't enough last year. I mean, it didn't even matter when we had a rush. To be fair, the DBs were also broken coverages every play, but we'll see. I mean, linebacker. I think we just need a floor raiser and somebody who's consistent. And the last thing I'll say, because I'm talking a lot, is it's interesting with Dean being he's going there when Jerry said the thing about like no red shirts. And Dean is like an injury history guy. So how does that play into that? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Was Dean hurt last year?
No, that was the first.
Does he play the whole year? I thought he missed a couple games.
I thought he
didn't play the whole year.
Okay.
Because remember, he missed a couple because they had the guy they drafted, Jahad Campbell, was playing, and they were like. And then Dean came back. Dean didn't start the year, so that was the whole thing against us. The first game of the year, he didn't play against us with the opener. But Dean didn't, but then Campbell did. And then he came back and he was playing solid. But basically they were splitting reps.
He missed 5 games last year. Nakobe Dean. So
that's a lot.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. That's I would love Devin Lloyd. I would be very happy with Devin Bush. Demario Davis is somebody I wanted the Cowboys to try to trade for last year from the Saints. And I thought like a veteran linebacker to come in because the Kobe Dean definitely gives you pause, especially when you have somebody like Overshown, which you've yet to see Overshown play a full year, and you're worried a little bit. Like you're trying not to be, but it's kind of like you're like, like, are they gonna be okay?
Yeah, it's a contract year, so of course he's going to play the whole year this year.
Well, yeah. Well, that's a good problem. I'm like, that sounds like one of them good problems. All right, so moving
Can
on to
Mario Davis
defense.
still play?
Yeah, he could still play.
Yeah, yeah, he was
He'd be a
very
1 year
solid.
deal to me. I would just, I mean,
Yeah,
that's the
that's what I'm saying.
thing.
Like, it don't have to be. If you sign somebody like Demario Davis, I wouldn't say it's for like long term.
I guess part of my thing is like, uh, I would love for them to find a different philosophy than the 1 year deals. I feel like it's hard to build a team that way. You know,
I think it's
it's
I'm just not
like to
paying
get
multiple years to Demario Davis at that age. That's the
right,
exactly
issue.
like
exactly.
I hear you, but I also feel like it's part of the issue that the Cowboys have where they don't. And I know like they talked about this on several shows on the .com side where you had young players that didn't have a veteran guy to kind of show them the ropes, and it impacted them. And then like the veteran players they did have last year were garbage, like Kenneth Murray Jr. and Jack Sanborn, and it's like it's like we kept saying like, well, we thought Maris showed promise, so why is he so terrible now? And then like you got Shamar James, why does he look so bad? And then well, if he's learning from Kenneth Murray and he's learning from Jack Sanborn, I'm just saying it's like let's just say what it is. That's not good role models. I would say that's not the role models I want you looking up to. So if you had like an actual impact linebacker that's shown that he can play, and then you got the young guys learning from him, I'd be more okay with that.
I mean,
Moving
Jacoby
on,
still 25.
And he's been
moving
hurt
on,
just like Overshown. So there you go.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just moving on to defensive backs. I got Alante Taylor from the Saints, Jalen
Yes,
Thompson
sir.
from the Cardinals. You got Ardarius Washington, PJ Locke from Denver, the safety, Reed Blankenship from the Eagles, Teron Johnson, the cornerback that the Bills just let go, Tariq Woolen from the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, and then you got Jamel Dean from the Bucks.
There's a lot
So
of
out of
adults
that,
in that group. A lot of
yeah,
adults in that group.
who
That's good.
interests you? Or I can see the Cowboys taking actually a couple of people out of that.
I think so too.
But who would you want out of there, Teddy?
I mean, they've been linked, of course, to Blankenship, PJ Locke, Jalen Thompson,
Mm-hmm.
just because of the connections with, of course, from Denver and
Yep,
the Eagles. But Alante Taylor, man, come on, dog. He'd be such a
that's
good
what I'm
fit
saying.
with that group.
And
He's the one out of that group I really would want because he
I
brings a little bit
saw
of
a
mentality.
number.
He could be the slot guy.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
I saw a number for him where they were talking about he might make 11, and Jerry
Fool
Jones
me.
had admitted how he regretted them letting
Hmm.
Jordan Lewis go. And I figure like Jordan Lewis made 10 mil per year. I feel like 11 is doable because
It's a very
Alante
doable
Taylor is
number.
definitely who I'm looking at. What about you, Jr? Who out of that group are you wanting or looking at?
Well, I also like Taylor, and I know I'm gonna get grief for this, um, but like because he's not an adult, is Tariq Woolen. You know, I'm just like, but he is a good, but
That would
he's
that would be a splash though. I feel like
he's
Tariq
kind
Woolen
of a
would be a
moron.
splash.
He's kind of a moron, but man, he's
But he
big and
can
he's
ball.
fast. You know, you feel like and maybe like I feel like the change in teams will set his mind right. Like, oh man, I need to keep my head in the game and not try and wreck stuff for my team. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I like both those guys, but I'm like, yeah, he'd be a splash.
He
Did we
can
lose
ball
Teddy?
though. No,
What?
he's. I mean, he's
When he's on
there,
top
but
of his
he's
game, he
not.
can play. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I feel you. I feel like if they were to sign Tariq Woolen, though, that would be a splash move because you don't know what he's gonna asked for.
I knew
I
Teddy
don't
wouldn't be
want that
feeling it.
one.
I knew it.
He's the cow.
Yeah, because
Look,
he's
he's a
such
cowboy.
every time I watch him, he's such a cowboy decision. And I just feel like he's like an old version of what they would do. And that's not like the new version is picking smart players, and that's very important with Christian
That's
Parker.
true. Christian Parker, when he was being interviewed at the combine, I know Patrick Nosey Walker asked him, like, what's a Christian Parker defensive back? And that was the thing that he, I'm paraphrasing, but he was talking about, guys that are smart players that can, react on their own. Like, there's no Wi-Fi out there to help you to be able to, overcome stuff. And yeah, Tariq Woolen might not fit that thing. I mean, for me, I would be thrilled with Alontae Taylor. I tell you who I don't want, and I know everybody's saying, oh, it makes sense because that he would teach Christian Parker's system is I don't want Reed Blankenship, man. I'm not good. I'm sorry. I'm good on Reed Blankenship. I'm
Well,
just
I feel
not
like he's like the opposite of Taylor, right? Like you feel like he's a smart guy who doesn't have the athleticism, whereas Taylor has the athleticism. He's just an idiot. And I do feel like you couldn't. I'm sorry, Woolen.
You mean Woolen, Tariq Woolen,
Woolen,
yeah.
I was talking about, yeah.
Woolen.
And I do feel like if you got Tariq Woolen, you'd have to get somebody else, for all the reasons that we've kind of mentioned, but sometimes when you watch that guy play, I'm just like, wow, he's exciting, And
so he's a typical size guy. It makes. I mean, that's what we would do: is get the guy with the wingspan, the athleticism, the speed. Like that is that old school what we would look at, and we need smart players. That was a big issue last year.
It's just nothing about him other than him knowing Christian Parker's scheme and being a smart player, but yeah, he's not very athletic. I just don't.
You're talking about Blankenship now?
Yeah, I'm talking about Blankenship. I don't feel like
I would rather not get him.
but I feel like in an argument for him, like what you just said, like that is the argument for him. Is that he's smart and he knows Parker's scheme. Like that.
I almost feel like
you would bring him in.
It's and again, I'm not. Maybe it's PTSD, or I'm just a little shook about guys wanting to bring in their people per se, because Flus was like, "Hey, I got this linebacker from Chicago, Jack Sanborn," and he was freaking awful. Like he knew the scheme, but he was not athletic at all. Like he was not athletic.
I thought he'd play better too. I was like, okay, like I saw him make some plays. Brother, none of that junk, nothing worked.
None. Like to the point where it's like he couldn't even bat a ball up in the air.
And then he was hurt for a lot of it too. It just didn't matter.
Yes, no. I just know, man. I'm good.
Did you see the Kenneth Murray tweet?
The one where the one guy keeps tweeting all these different Cowboys players talking about sign or walk.
Yeah,
I saw that.
I was like, this is like rage bait.
No, I want to sign him again. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, what's the point of that, dog? What sign or walk? What the heck? What you think?
Rage bait.
Like why? Exactly. That's exactly what that was.
Engagement farming.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Rage bait, engagement farming. No, I don't want to re-sign no freaking Kenneth Murray, dog. If I hear, I'd rather sign Keith Murray. I'd rather have Keith Murray on my team than Kenneth Murray. Nah, man, crazy. Is there any player that you can just, it doesn't even matter, like any player that I didn't mention that you guys would love to see the Cowboys to go after?
I mean, Minka, he's in a trade.
Yes.
I just don't know why it's taking. I thought we were going to pivot immediately, but I think everyone's trying to wait to see if he just gets released instead.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because he could get. I mean, the Dolphins have to do something here.
Yeah.
That's how it is. We're gonna trade. Let him. He's out. Look for a trade. All right, we just released him instead because no one wanted to trade for that value that they're probably asking for like a third, and everyone's like, nah, you're gonna cut him, so I'm gonna give you a third. I'll wait, or you can take this fifth. They could be asking for a bigger number.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
That's why I think it makes sense to me. I'm sorry. What was that, JR?
Quiddy pay.
I I don't even know much about him, to be honest. Like I remember when he was coming out in the draft and
Right.
people were talking about him, but outside of that, I didn't pay enough attention to the Colts to know if he's what kind of impact he would make.
Yeah.
I
I
just
mean,
think we could aim
mhm,
higher is my thing with
yeah,
that. But like
Hmm.
he'd be like a okay player, but I don't think he's that much better than what we've had.
yeah. It sounds like the type of player that the Cowboys would sign like in week 3 or week 4 when they don't participate. And so I will ask you this because this is the thing. I've been saying it like a lot of Cowboys fans have been saying, "Oh, they look different. They moving different." Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones aren't at the Christian Parker press conference, even though they've not been at any of the defense coordinator press conferences. So it's like, "Oh, they moving different." Dog, I've been saying it. I won't believe that they're moving different until tomorrow. If they do
We
something
shall
tomorrow,
see.
then I'll be like, they're moving different. Is that where you guys are?
Yeah, I mean, to be
100%.
fair, they signed what Javante Williams like day one. Everyone was like, "What? Why was that our first
That's
signing?"
yeah.
And turned out to be one of our best ones of the year, and the best one of the best moves of the year was signing him so early for little money for how his impact was. But I need to see an impact player sign. But first of all, I think they have until Wednesday to clear cap space of one of these restructures. Remember I was saying
Yeah.
they're taking a little long on these restructures. I wonder if someone's going to be involved in a trade. And lo and behold, they were dangling Osa. So there you go. They got to
So
make some cap
I
room.
heard let's go there for a second because I did hear that the offer that the Cowboys sent to the Raiders was a first, which was actually pick 12, and it was a second round pick for next year's draft. And Osa wasn't a part of it. Like it was rumored that Osa was a part of it, but then
There
they
was a
said,
veteran player. No, today Jeremy Fowler said there was a veteran player involved. Maybe it wasn't
"Oh,
Osa.
okay."
Because
So
I saw the
okay,
same thing. I say, okay, it wasn't. But then Fowler had his thing today about who players who we're going to look at. I think I sent you. I said, don't just look at Hendrick Center. They look at Owe and Mafe. They said the
oh, okay.
Cowboys did include a veteran player as well, and they wanted
Maybe it
picks.
was Osa. It might have been
So I
Osa, but
also cryptically was tweeting, so I feel like it was him.
it probably was then. So I guess where are you on the scale of disappointment that they didn't pull it off, or on a scale of 1 to 10, Jr.
I mean, like 5. I was glad they went for it. Like I said, I would have celebrated if they'd gotten them. Uh, I don't know. To me, it felt like they, and I hesitate to say this because all the things we talked about, I feel like they behave the way I would like them to. So I can't, like, hopefully in the next few months, I won't go back on it. Be like, hopefully I won't go back and say like they're idiots. You're, you know,
Like, no, you almost made it. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
but you can cut that. You can cut that.
I'll do my
Uh,
best.
but
I can show you. I've done it before. I got you.
yeah.
Okay, thanks, Teddy.
Uh, what were we talking about? Oh, so I felt like they treated that whole situation the way I would like them to have treated it. I felt like they had set a price. It was a good offer, and then they stuck to their guns and they were willing to walk away from the table. Which I feel like when you're negotiating, you always have to be willing to say no. And that's just the way it goes. And that the Raiders found somebody else who's willing to pay that price. I mean, honestly, I think it was a mistake for the Ravens too, but I don't really care about the Ravens, and things might prove otherwise. But unless we're playing them in the Super Bowl, I don't care. You know, so right now I feel positive about them. I feel like they have a new hotshot young defensive coordinator who they want to treat right. And like Teddy is always talking about how Jerry was embarrassed by the Micah situation, and well, he should have been, and he wants to make that right. And so I have this idea that is a driving, force for him right now, is that he wants to make the Micah deal right. And I even felt like him holding back and being like, okay, we don't want to meet this, was him like trying to like not compound the Micah error, by giving away the 2 draft picks we got from Micah
Mm-hmm.
for Max Crosby, who's not as good. Great player, but
Mm-hmm.
and probably more commonsensical in the dressing room. But so like right now, I feel like cautiously optimistic is too strong because I feel like I'm not that optimistic, but I do have some glimmer of hope that their perspective has shifted somewhat and they're trying to do things differently and they're trying to team build like a 2026 football team.
Teddy, where were you at on a scale of 1 to 10? A disappointment.
I mean, probably around the same, maybe a 4 because I saw how much they gave up and they stuck to their guns. I think
Mm-hmm.
that was appropriate because that's basically was the Quinnen Williams trade, right? It was
Yeah.
a first and a
Yeah.
second. So I'm
Yep.
like, okay,
Yep.
that they
Yep.
probably like he's the same type of player. He's older. He's a more impactful position. But I was kind of proud because I think I really was like he's about to if he gives up because they were trying to force us to first this year. You could just
Yeah.
feel it, right? And for
Like
the
that's the
Ravens to give a
thing.
bit up,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. But
It,
hey, like you
yeah.
said,
Yeah.
so it's just I was proud. I was like, dang, that's operating like a big boy. Now we say all that, but they don't do nothing, then I'm gonna be upset. If they don't do anything to
I
get
mean,
some players here. Because if we don't get them and then like we have a terrible year and our defense, we can't get pressure. And I'm just gonna be looking at the Ravens and Max Crosby on Sunday Night Football getting pressure. I'm gonna be like, should have
Bro.
gave it up.
Bro.
like
It was
if these
somebody.
draft picks don't hit, I'm gonna be like,
It was somebody on Twitter that be cracking up, going like, "Oh, great! Now I gotta listen to every time Max Crosby gets a sack. Clarence Hill will be like, oh, Cowboys didn't want to give up 2
he
first round
started
picks."
doing that already too, saying some draft picks. I said, shut up, Clarence.
Exactly. I'm just saying because where I'm at I'm pretty much where you guys are, but I was very adamant is that I did not want them giving up 12 and 20. I just did not want them to do it. It didn't make sense to me. It was and part of my issue was because the defense has so many holes and you need to fill as many holes. I don't have faith that they're going to do anything in free agency just yet. So my thought is you need the picks to fix the holes. And like the analogy I kept using was like the scene from Saving Private Ryan where Tom Hanks' character is like shooting at a tank. And I felt like that's what the people that were wanting them to trade the 2 picks was like, yeah, you want them to like you're fighting a tank with a freaking handgun. Like that's not gonna work. It's like it just don't make any sense. So why would you do it? I was cool with it, but I
I was
will say
actually
this.
I was actually surprised at
Mhm.
how many folks were like, "Yeah, give it
I
the 2
wasn't.
picks for Max
I
Crosby."
wasn't
Like I
because
I
I feel
really
like
thought like Cowboys Nation would kind of be more like in simpatico,
no. The one thing that I've come to learn from Cowboys Nation, especially Cowboys Nation on Twitter, is that they're freaking insane. Like they're certifiably insane. But now I will say that brings me to this. There was a rumor. I can't remember who tweeted, but there was a rumor that the Browns and the Patriots were in talks to trade for Myles Garrett, right? And I'll say this. I will say this. If you tell me, and I've been very consistent on this when it comes to Myles Garrett, if you're telling me that the asking price for Myles Garrett is 12 and 20, you can have it. You can take it. You can take it. If it's Myles Garrett and you want 12 and 20, I give it up. That's different to me because there's like, and
Thank you,
the
sir.
reason
May I
why
have
it's
another?
different, the reason why it's different is because I put like you
Well, you don't
have
have to explain why it's different.
okay,
I mean,
yeah,
it's different.
all right, because yeah. So what
Yeah,
would y'all if the talk was the Cowboys were going after Myles Garrett and they were giving up 12 and 20, would you feel the same way about it as you did with Max Crosby?
no,
well,
because
no,
he's better than Micah. And that's fleecing. We
yeah.
gave two first rounders. We got 2 first rounders and a player. If I just got to give up 2 first rounders this year for the man who just broke the sack record and is still an
Yeah.
ascending player and a better run to, I don't care how we playing at 3-4, whatever.
No.
Those 5-man fronts, come on, dog. I don't care. We can go pick some people off the street. JR can go play cornerback.
I mean, I mean,
Yeah,
Quinn
that's where I'm
Williams
at.
and Miles Garrett. God,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I would
All
do
right.
that.
So yeah.
I would play
Yeah.
quarterback. I'm like, good,
Yeah.
good.
Well,
I'll
no,
get
because
out there.
I saw some people again, and I know this is not y'all, so y'all jumped on me for this before, but yeah, I saw people like, oh, so you would do Miles Garrett, but not Max Crosby. Yes, yes. We guess I would do Miles Garrett and
All
not
due
Max
respect
Crosby.
to Max,
Exactly.
but like
It's not even close to me.
Miles
Yeah,
Garrett is like a superhero. I mean, that is a hulking brute of a man who can do
exactly.
everything. Like he is a one man wrecking crew.
Yeah. All right. Oh, last one. I'll let you guys get out on this one. So Brandon Aubrey was tendered. They put the second round tender on him. He's going to make at least 5.8. There's a number of Cowboys fans that I have seen on Twitter that was like, oh, "What do you do?" Like, well, let me be fair. There's half of them that are saying, "Give me the second round pick." Then there's another half that's like, "What are you doing? You need a kicker. He's an elite kicker. What are they doing? Why would you not pay him?" I can already see. I can already see Teddy. Jr. Do you want the pick, or do you want them to?
I mean, to me, it seems so ridiculous. Like, I feel like I didn't want to say that because who the heck would trade a second round, would get rid of a second round pick for a kicker? Who would do that? And I saw
Rams.
some people that I think are otherwise sensible, being like, like what you were saying, because the dude was like, how can you have Super Bowl aspirations and still want to give up an elite kicker for a second round pick? You value those picks too much. I was like, what?
That's what
What
I'm
is
saying.
what?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, that was one. Somebody said some of y'all value these picks too much. I was like, what the f are you talking about?
I was
Like,
like,
are you
what?
serious? Are you
Somebody's
serious?
valuing
So
a
I can
kicker too much.
Dolphins just
so I
cut
can get.
Sanders. Shoot, give me that second for Aubrey. Go pick up Sanders from the Dolphins. We gonna have a good time.
I was like, speaking like
That
Exactly.
second round pick be
JR will
Jacob
go out there and
Rodriguez.
kick.
Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. Like that second round pick could be freaking. That's what I was Jacob Rodriguez. It could be
That's what I'm
Jake
saying.
Dolan
Yeah.
from Cincinnati. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here? Like, what are we? That could be Malachi Lawrence, the edge from UCF. Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing here? Like, what are we doing here,
That was
dog?
another one where I was just like, I would not have thought that there would be like disagreement on that. And, even on Cowboys Twitter, did I expect someone to come in and be like, caping for Brandon Aubrey over, like, man, if somebody wants to pay him 7.5 or whatever it is and give us a
Exactly. And
second
give
round
up a
pick,
second round pick?
bye, Felicia. I mean, like, what?
No. Let's go. Let's go.
Man.
Let's go. Well, all right, fellas. I appreciate you jumping on with me for the inaugural launch of an actual episode on YouTube. Teddy, I'll be in touch with you so you can give me the tips. And I'm just saying, I'm looking forward to actual free agency kicking off so we can talk about football players other than football players' personal lives, because there's somebody on Cowboys Twitter that lost their motherfucking mind on the personal. I'm not even, that's all I'm gonna say on it. That's
We
all I'm
gotta
gonna say
go.
on it.
We gotta
That's
go.
all
What
I'm gonna say
happened?
on it.
We gotta go.
That's
Off
all.
air.
That's
Off
all.
air. Off
Can
air.
I just say, why can we say freaking, but we can't say the other thing? I mean, that sounds like people know what you meant. You don't
Yeah,
think
but
that's the same?
Because
no,
this
but
is Joe to see. Regan,
yeah.
baby. Come on, we gotta go.
All right. Well, thanks, fellas. I'll see
All right,
y'all
y'all.
later. Peace.
See y'all.